call it to order.
I thought I did that already. I looked at my phone. I did. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:39.
And for recording purposes, I want to announce the date, January 13th, 2025. Trying to get in the habit of doing that. So meeting minutes for December. Attendees were myself, Michael, Jason, and Jennifer. Nobody was here from the PD, and then Misty Clark was here. Minutes from 2024 monthly and budget meeting were read and approved by the board. Open issues were ordinance updates, lawyer contracting, Kaiser grant writing, rental of the backlot, Henry County zoning, snow removal, and 2025 budget. Updates discussed. Mr. Morlock advised the ordinances needed to be limited down to between 2 and 19 pages. Discussed, okay. No new communication about the paving grant had been received. Michael had reached out to the farmer about partnership for renting or using the back field, and had not been able to make contact at that time. Henry County Zoning Partnership, Michael reviewed that with Mr. Morlock. The pros and cons were discussed among the board members, but no real decision was made. Snow removal contracting, Twisted A Fencing and Manning Lawn Care submitted bids, and at that time there was no response from the DLGF for the 2025 budget. New business discussed. I reminded board members to please sign the monthly bank statement and financial reviews. I was putting together internal control policies for the board to review and approve. Talked about Tank Farm needing a debit card for payment, and I was going to check in to see what other towns were doing with regards to debit cards, because I've been going back and forth about that all year with the SBOA. I was working with Kenner Crusaders and an Indianapolis company to purchase a swing set with donation money and grant money that I'd received. Insurance coverage was discussed. We talked about making sure. Jennifer asked if they know the police department is located in the community building and if there was appropriate coverage for that. Meetings are supposed to start or be live streamed starting this year for state compliance, and I was trying to figure out the best way to do that. We discussed police department fund distribution as to whether to give them their allocation all at once or throughout the year, and the board voted to distribute half in January and half in June as we had done previously. I presented information regarding inspection and remediation of lead in public water pipes. Board felt this didn't pertain to Greensboro as all citizens are on private wells. It was a kind of like a notice to work with the county and other organizations to do inspections, but like I said, it doesn't apply to us. Uncashed checks should, the state requires uncashed checks to be turned over to Indiana Unclaimed Funds after 2 years, and I have 2 outstanding checks that I've been trying to find the people to get it returned to, and they're not quite 2 years old yet, but I was just discussing how I've been trying to get a hold of those people and the policy that the state regards that we are supposed to follow. There was a sign placed on the gas stove to do not use because it leaks when turned on, and we're going to try to find a replacement for it. Community and building repairs discussed that we need to do was the kitchen faucet, weather stripping on the kitchen door, and carpet cleaning. Michael took the financial documents to review for the month. Jennifer asked if there's a meeting for all town boards in the area, and nobody's aware of any such meeting currently. Contract was granted to Twisted A Fencing for snow removal for the 2024-2025 winter, and Jason, I think it was asked where how donations could be made for the park. And we talked about the checks could be, made out to the town of Greensboro and notated for the specific use they wanted it contributed to. Police department, insurance, we discussed it has been completed. So rentals, we talked about, using a logbook and providing receipts for rental payments to be compliant with internal controls, and depositing money more frequently, preferably once a week. And that was pretty much it for last month. Okay, so I have, we got the, I have the, 2025 budget back from the state, and boy, they really cut us down. It's not good. They cut us to just 21,000 on our general fund. And I admittedly, and I've been saying, I don't have a super good understanding of how they decide that stuff. They obviously think that we don't have as much money as we do. And it seems to me like that comes from the annual financial report that I have to do at the beginning of the year. So last year would have been my first year doing it, and I tried to mimic, because it shows you in there how it was put in and questions that were answered for. So I had tried to mimic what was done before, but if you remember, that's when, I started questioning, like, this doesn't add up. The money in the funds and everything doesn't add up like it should. And then later on, I just did some adjusting to try to balance that out, how I felt and understood that it should have been done. So there again, I'm not 100% sure that that's what it's affecting, but if it is, and I'm right, hopefully after this year, some of that will be corrected, and for the future will be better. But just like we did this past year, I mean, we'll just figure it out. We adjust and sometimes pay things out of other funds, like the CCIF fund. I've kind of got a plan for this year, how to distribute that out so that we can take care of everything that we need to with the money that we obviously have, and still not be, running us out of money or anything. I'll be asking again for an additional appropriation for the general fund, so that, that'll give us some cushion there, so we don't go over what we're allotted to spend. So that's kind of the ins and outs of it. You do have the full report there, if you care to read through it. I want you guys to kind of sign off on what we were appropriated, so that, you're just aware of what we have to work with.
Say in there what we asked for.
Oh, I think I asked for like, I think it says in there, that I asked for 40, or I think for general.
Which one we just asked of.
Was there just one copy of this?
Yeah, that's all I printed out.
There is, I don't.
Okay, I may be wrong, it may not be on there, but I thought it was.
There's a lot of numbers there.
Actually, I don't see it in there.
I was thinking it was 40-something thousand.
I think you're right, I can pull it up here. Yeah, so we asked for, I 46,000 for general, and 10 each for, LRS and motor vehicle highway. Cause those are the only 3 funds that they do the budget for. The others are like special revenue funds that they don't give us an allocation for. So that's why it gives us a little bit of wiggle room and play room out of those other funds. So yeah, they cut us down to half for LRS and NVH and 20,000, more than 20,000 off of general. And like I said, we just figure it out as we go along, like we keep doing. That's what I keep
If
doing.
it's wrong, they'll tell us.
Okay, did I put your W-2s in with that stuff?
I didn't see it, but
So that worked to get them ready, and then don't give them to you, that doesn't make much sense. I probably pulled them back out in the other folder. But I do have those done. And I really wanted you guys to look at it too. An extra week and I'm still unprepared.
must have skipped out.
What's on the back?
I upgraded, I went ahead and upgraded Rumpke to every other week. It would have been, they'll charge you $80 for one extra pickup, okay? Or we can pay $10 or more a month and have it every other week. So if you have 2 extra pickups per year, you may as well just do every other week.
Is that for residential also?
No, this is just for the big thing out there.
The dumpster.
Cause that's a lot cheaper.
I know where you're going with that, yeah. Well, thank you for doing that, because that was crazy dealing with that dumpster after
Yeah,
our.
holiday season was a mess.
Right.
with that thing.
Right, and it's been like maybe 3 times, 2 or 3 times since we've had it that we've needed an extra pickup, so it's more than worth
They'll
the
pay
value.
for itself.
Yeah,
Did somebody order an extra lock, or did they give us a new lock? I
no,
just noticed there was a $9 charge for a lock on the bill.
for a lock,
Yeah,
Did they break it and need to
either
replace it
a
or
lock or a key one.
we've not gotten one.
And
Uh-uh.
I could ask
I
them
would,
about it.
yeah, I would contest it, cause we've not gotten anything. I know Steve, he has a contact, right? You were talking with Steve? Anyway, he has a contact at some place where they can get the actual blanks, because that's a special key. We might be able to get copies of those keys instead of ordering it through Rumpke, because it's more expensive going that route. But, you know, where we stand on that, just so we could have a couple of extras, you know, because I think we're limited to 2 or 3 of them. I think we only have a couple keys, but
Interesting.
We should have at
It's on
least 3, I thought.
I've got one that stays on the renter's key, and that's the only one I
and
have.
we have one.
Jason has one and you guys have one.
Yeah, I thought at one point you had it, but you turned it over to Jason.
Right, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I did initially, but I
Yeah,
gave it
so
to
we have
Jason.
one, and then I know there's some stuff in that lockbox out front.
Yeah.
There was a guy here today that was shoving stuff in the box when I was,
Oh, that was probably the snow plow, or the snow plowing guy
I had
turning
no
in his
idea, I was
invoice.
working on stuff and I didn't, yeah, he pulled up and was shoving stuff in there.
Yeah,
I had-
Black Dodge.
No, it was a white, big truck. I have no idea,
Austin's truck's black.
I don't know. Anyway, you can open it up and get all your stuff out of
If I
it.
had my keys with me,
I have to,
for the Dropbox, it should be in my truck. Sometimes it's hanging up on the key rack. I like to keep it in my truck, but sometimes it ends up in my coat pocket.
So, I have a tentative plan for, how to pay for paving this year. Of course, it's all tentative depending on, I think we should be okay money-wise. It's just the appropriations that worries me and just, we'll figure that out. But then, of course, we don't know exactly how much that's gonna cost and everything, but just FYI, I kinda have a plan in mind about how to deal with that.
Did he show up at the October meeting like he was supposed to? I have to reach back out.
So then I do, like we kinda talked about earlier, the fire protection, payment for 2024 is there, and then the contract assigned for 2025. The insurance, quote is in for 2025. And I think she forwarded that to you too, didn't she, Chris?
Yeah, I've actually been trying to shop around.
Okay.
I did get it. I thought it was,
Is that the Astra?
it was
Yeah.
a little high,
Yeah.
so I haven't made a lot of progress. I've reached out to several, and getting these people to respond, it's like, holy gee. And I started this back in September, and she's, like, I said, hey, can you give me an idea of what to expect for 2025? Started that in September, and so we didn't get anything from her until just a week or two ago. And it's like, what in the world? I need to know something. Give me at least 90 days to prepare for this.
Yeah. Well, she didn't say, but I would assume she's probably gonna need that signed and payment pretty soon.
Yeah, there was a couple of questions that I had sent back to her that were not clear. So in one section on page 19, it says there is coverage, and then in another section, it says there's no coverage. So I'm like, these they contradict themselves. And so she said she was gonna look into it. I didn't quite understand her response. It didn't make a lot of sense to me, but, it still reflects the same thing. So it's very strange. One says there's coverage for a certain line item, but then when you go to the next page, it says it's not. And I can point it out to you. Page 19.
I think that's 19.
Okay, go back. Hold on, let me bring my email to her. It was really strange. So my email to her was, okay, page 15, go to page 15. And there is a section, yep, right there. Employee theft not covered. However, if you go to right here, crime coverage highlights, it's included, employee theft. So employee theft is included here, but it's not covered. See? So then also if you go to page 19, that's 15. And this is employment practices liability. Employment practices, liability, yes, okay. And it says, indicates not covered, all this is not covered, but on page 20, included. So it's covered.
Is that stuff that's specific to you guys?
No,
Do you speed?
that has nothing to do with PD, that's just
Absolutely not.
in general.
Exactly.
Not in that anyway.
Yeah. 45 and 20.
Interesting.
No.
Well, I guess,
So,
we just
so,
see
so her response,
60 and a 45.
which was very confusing. She said, I did needed clarification on the wording in the proposal regarding the crime and EPLI coverage highlights. The highlight section is just meant to show what the carrier's program can offer, but does not necessarily mean that it is what you have currently. The summary of coverages shows what is being quoted.
Yeah.
That still doesn't,
Why do we wanna know what we can't cover, or why do we
It's
wanna know what?
confusing.
Yeah,
because it says included, but then it says not covered.
yeah,
I think I get what she's saying, but it is kind of confusing without that
Yeah.
explanation.
it shows you what's available,
Mhm.
if you want it, but, I mean, why would you put it in a contract if we're not getting it?
I just wanted, I just, when I was reviewing it,
Yeah,
I mean, that doesn't pertain to us, but I just thought this didn't make sense to me, so I thought I would ask. That's totally up to you guys. I mean, that doesn't pertain to us. But
I
it just,
wouldn't-
it was kind of strange to me
yeah,
that one section says yay, the other section, yeah, so maybe I'm reading it incorrectly, I don't know.
I wanted to ask you about the last page where it talks about all the uninsured motorist stuff.
I didn't even see the last page.
And I didn't know how to answer any of that, since it would only pertain to the automobiles with you
The last
guys.
page, I didn't even see.
Pretty sure it's the very last page.
uninsured motorist coverage.
Yeah, you have to have the look at.
I'm sure most coverage has limit customers allowed. What does that mean?
Coverage limits equal to the liability limit for,
I've
for
never
my
had to do that
policy.
in prior years, so I don't understand what that means.
So what's our liability? What's our motorist coverage? Cause I mean, if it's $1,000 and,
Yeah, so our
I mean,
deductible,
yeah,
which I didn't understand, she didn't ask me about this, did it on her own, she increased our deductible from 500 to 1,000. Didn't ask, she just did it, and then our rates all went up another $2,700. Which typically, if your deductible goes up, right, your rate wouldn't necessarily.
your rate should go down.
Right. So even if you think on your personal car, right?
Yeah.
If you have a $250 deductible,
Mm-hmm.
your rates are gonna be X amount of dollars. If your $500 deductible, you're gonna get a lesser monthly, or you get a lesser rate.
Did it possibly go up because of the two accidents?
No? And then one other thing I had to correct, which she was put it on, she had 3 extra cars, so I had to send her a complete new list of vehicles that we've been sending her throughout the year. So she finally corrected that after 2 months, but she had 3 different cars on there, and she had other people listed on there that haven't been here for 2 years. So that was a nightmare, sending that back and forth. I'm like, we send this to you monthly.
So that information was
I
sent
believe
to me. Trying to find the date
What is
here.
social engineering?
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't, yeah, some of that doesn't make any sense.
$200.
$250.
Social engineering.
there again, is that on the summary page? Cause that may be something that.
It does say summary.
Okay, so
But-
that should be something that we're actually being charged for,
Yeah.
according to that other email.
We are being charged $250.
Yeah. Cause the others say not covered, but there's $250 there.
Right there, look, social engineering crime coverage is $5,000. But then what we're being, the deductible we're being charged is $250.
Oh yeah, 'cause it does say deductibles. So if someone hacks into our computer, that's,
Not covered.
and I'm guessing that's what that means, since it's in that context. Or if we're given counterfeit money for money orders.
Yeah, it's not covered,
Yeah.
but then,
They're not gonna insure us anything under, or over $5,000.
yeah, so we pay a $250 deductible on the social engineering, and they're gonna cover it to $5,000. That's what that is. But what is social engineering from?
would that be a contractor that we might hire to do work in town?
Social engineering.
Doesn't seem
It's like
it.
PR.
I'm
Yeah, no, I know.
reaching
Just
for
throw it in.
because it
Yeah, I
doesn't,
mean, that would,
Okay.
you know, engineering, right, would be,
Google says social engineering is the use of centralized planning in an attempt to manage social change and regulate the future development and behavior of a society. I told you.
I think that's just.
that's why I'm reaching that it's a, like, you know,
They-
the gentleman we use for the roads.
Then it also says
Wouldn't
the,
he be declared as a social engineer because he doesn't, he works
he's trying to.
for the broad, you know, for the
so
development of the communities.
to me, that is a
And
service though, and social engineering to me means more like behaviors and just like social media, social, you know.
Yeah.
And like this says, in the context of information security, the use of deception to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential or personal information that may be used for fraudulent purposes. So I guess that would mean like, maybe I get an email that says, I'm such and such from the state, I need Jennifer Smith's information, and I'm like, oh, they're from the state, and I give it to them, and then find out it's a scammer.
Yeah, so.
That's just my thoughts.
Here's what it says.
That kind of makes sense.
Psychological manipulation tactic used to trick people into sharing sensitive information or giving away control of their devices.
Yeah.
So for example, phishing, baiting,
Yeah.
yeah. Social engineering attacks can happen anywhere that involves human interaction. So, yeah, it's a common technique used by cyber criminals to enhance phishing, spoofing, so forth. So it kind of goes along with what
Yeah.
Elliot was saying. So it's psychological manipulation, trying to get information from.
I feel like that's what the insurance companies do.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Maybe that's why
It
they're,
is very confusing.
they're trying to get their money now.
So I did reach out to other, when I said that I was looking at additional insurance, so I reached out to a couple places and I just haven't gotten a good response, but I did get an email back from this guy, but, he's with a company called EMC. He's out of Muncie. He finally responded to me today, it's a little late. But he's wanting some additional information, but
And I assume you're just shopping for yourself with the police department.
yeah, I am, but what they're wanting to do is, that, like he says, traditionally, police department is included with the town's policy. I get that.
I
So,
kinda wondered about shopping around for us, but, you know,
who's got time?
well, it's not so much, well, there's the time to do it, and there's also the time to educate myself on what we need and understand that, in order to shop around coherently and responsibly. That's where the real time consuming comes in, cause I just, you know, I don't know.
I mean, if there was somebody out there that would be willing to give a better rate quote for the town in general to include us, then that's something that I think we should entertain looking into and see how it compares. Do we have time for that? No, not for 2025 probably, because, you know, they wanna renew this soon. And how quickly can an agent take what we have and review it and get something back to us that's competitive? We may have a great rate. I mean, that's kind of what I'm finding on the police department side. We have a competitive rate, that's the problem. I think it's a little high. But in the grand scheme of it, compared to other places, I mean, it's very competitive. So,
Is there a group for the town, or all the little clerk treasurers that has, you can like ask a, hey, just,
That's what I was wondering if there
But
was
it's
any.
also subjective as to, you know, like if Kenner, okay, I talked to Kenner's clerk treasurer a lot, but they have utilities. and they're also bigger, and, you know, so it's hard to compare apples to apples, I think, because of those differences.
Yeah,
So I would
You're
have
gonna
to,
have more liability.
yeah,
you know,
cause Louisville also has utilities,
yeah.
Knightstown, I mean, there's really,
This Caddis,
I would say, that's the only.
Caddis would be the only other one that may be somewhat close
Mhm.
in that aspect, because I don't think they have water or sewer in Caddis.
I think the only thing you could do is just get the information on who they
Mhm.
have, and maybe research it over the next year
Right.
to say, okay,
Well,
twenty
and I wonder
twenty-six.
if, like any other insurance policy, if we do find something, why couldn't we switch in the middle of the
Yeah.
year?
Right,
They would just have to
Sure.
refund, and of course, the only problem with that would be, you know, we would have to have the cash on hand to front the premium and then get reimbursement.
they
We
may
could probably
give you a
figure that out.
leeway, knowing that
They're switching.
you're switching, I mean, they may, you know, give you a variance.
Can we pay this semi-annually? Can we pay half now and half later?
I guess I could ask.
And just let them know that due to budget concerns, which is not a
Mhm.
lie, that it would be easier for us to pay 6 months in advance because of the way that the money gets distributed as far as the income tax and all of that. I know and it may end up costing more that way. So that's the only,
Yeah,
Mm,
sometimes
sure,
they do,
sometimes
give you a
it
break
does.
if you pay it for the full year.
just have to weigh the.
It's only $100 difference.
Right.
Yeah, I would say, well, that makes sense, but if they say,
Mhm.
well, it's gonna be $5,000 difference, well,
Mhm.
I wouldn't wanna do that.
Are they local?
So the agency is in Newcastle, and I don't know where Astra's from, but most insurances are like that anymore.
they're
They've got
just-
an agent that handles several
Yeah,
different
Medallion
companies.
is just the broker,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, and then
Probably
they try to
somewhere
go
in
with
South
something.
Carolina.
I just didn't know if someone would be willing to come to the
South
next
North Carolina.
board
No,
meeting.
That's kind of what I was thinking too, if we shop around, maybe get somebody to come in
Yeah.
and meet with
Because
everybody.
North Carolina
and-
has to explain it, and it's very
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
We're all-
Basic terms we
yeah.
can understand.
yeah, and and it doesn't hurt to have eyes on, boots on the ground, eyes
Yeah.
on what you're actually looking at, and like, oh yeah, you just got this building, and, they.
Well, I saw in the one proposal, the first one she sent us, like the rate for the fire department in this building went up dramatically. Like the cost or the value of it or something jumped dramatically.
That's because they're gonna need a lot of 2x4s in California.
Yeah, the first one that came out, the first revision, it showed like the fire department went up to 800,000 or something like that from last year, and it was like 600, it went up like an extra $200,000 or something.
Evaluation.
Yeah, and I thought, how did it go?
Is that from the county assessors
Oh, I have no idea.
standpoint? I wonder.
I don't know, but
Says property increase, 81,781.
there you go.
I don't know if that is both buildings or not.
Yeah, I briefly skimmed through it, but I thought, how in the world did it go up
Yeah,
so much? What did we do different? We didn't, but how did they come up with that valuation?
And then we have the also additional cost to decide of if we want the terrorism coverage.
Yeah.
And on one hand, you think it's Greensboro, it's ridiculous, but then on the other hand, if you think like an insurance agent, and somebody says, "Oh, I'm mad at the town board for giving me an ordinance violation," or, so I'm mad at the police department, and they decide to set off a pipe bomb down here or something, and they're like, well, that's domestic terrorism, and you're not covered for that.
Good point.
If I'm thinking like an insurance agent.
Yeah, but I also had an insurance agent tell me I had to have flood coverage
Right. I had that,
because I was located too close to the creek.
yeah.
And then I said, do you have a topographical map? Because I'm also 200 feet above the creek. If it gets to my house, we better have an arc.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, the biggest thing on that, so what I had to do is, the Army Corps of Engineers had to come out on one of my properties and they had to assess it. That's how they come up with the flood, and they're like, yeah, I don't, so I got to drop that, it was an extra $800 a year for the flood insurance. The Army Corps of Engineers is in charge of determining that, and they came out and they're like, yeah, you're not in the floodplain.
Yeah, if the creek gets to us, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna call up my buddy.
Yeah, the whole town was ready. Right.
Mhm.
I don't think we've accepted the terrorism coverage. I
We
think,
didn't last year.
yeah, it was
No,
offered
it-
last year and we didn't.
Gives the price with and without, so.
Claims their head office.
And it's not like a
on North
huge
Meridian
amount of
Street,
difference,
you know.
but
Yeah,
at this point, you know.
yeah, I've seen that before, I knew they were.
I'd seen the sign down through somewhere, but I didn't know where. It's interesting.
So I guess I can get back with her and ask her about, number one, when does she need answer and payment? Like I said, I'm guessing pretty soon. I just looked at my email and she sent me another email today. Did you get a chance to look over that? So, pretty sure she's wanting it back.
It's
soon.
funny, they're in a hurry, but they're not in a hurry to respond to
So
us.
it's always included without the extra charges.
And I can try to ask her about if we can just do 6 months and what that difference is.
It's uncovered. There's no-
Do we need to wait, Chris, do you think, until you have more answers on the things that you had questions on?
Oh, the only, I mean, that was just the two questions, why it showed included and not covered. I was just confused. That was the only questions I had. But it was strange that the deductible went up, and I didn't request that. So the deductible went up, and then our rate still went up $3,000.
Did you wanna look at, or did you look at that, uninsured motorist paper?
Yeah, I don't.
I think it's the last page,
Yeah,
Jason, if
it
you wanna
was.
pull that off and give it to him.
I mean, I have the email, I don't,
Okay.
yeah, I can look at it later, I don't have to look at it now, but I don't know that we ever did anything with that last year, or maybe it wasn't included last year, I don't know what they're asking, yay or nay.
Is this like the same thing we had last year?
As far as
It looks very similar, but I don't remember ever answering anything on, I'm sure, that's news to me. I never checked the box.
Yeah,
before,
I don't
so-
remember it being requested
And I
last
don't know
year,
what
a
that-
separate form.
What that really actually means. Yeah, I know, right, it's confusing.
It,
At limits equal to the liability limit for my policy. So we're rejecting uninsured motorists? No, we don't wanna reject that, right? So if there's a crash and they don't have insurance, we're screwed, right? And same
Yeah.
with underinsured, we don't wanna reject that, or both.
Yeah, cause then we're liable.
Right, so uninsured coverage and underinsured at limits equal to the liability limit. At a limit less than.
We need layman's terms.
I think I would wanna probably select that one, the first one.
yeah,
We want it to be equal to the liability limit. We don't want it to be less than the liability limit.
no.
No, cause then we're stuck.
Well,
Well, you're not stuck, I'm stuck.
Yeah, you're stuck.
well, and then is this for,
Just motors.
okay? But are they thinking that we have other vehicles for the town?
No, because if you go back
Is it-
here, it's got
okay.
it's got a list.
Remember, I just got here.
Yeah, keep going.
Well, I was
Couple
thinking
things.
of cooperating.
There's gonna be a list of the vehicles.
Okay, so that, it's just,
There you go. And it's 2 pages.
That's a lot of vehicles.
I know, right? One of them sits right there, that one.
yep.
So,
So the vehicles are all updated.
Oh, see, this isn't
correctly
right.
now?
this is still wrong. It's still wrong. She has 23 vehicles listed. We don't have 23 vehicles.
Okay, I'm typing up an email and I'm
You should have
CCing
four.
you
We
on
have
it.
20. So there's still 3 more vehicles on here that shouldn't be here. And I've already sent that to her last week, or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. Well, when you printed this off, is that the first revision?
No,
Or is that the newest one that just came out a week or so?
yeah,
which emailed?
last week, yeah.
Yeah, see, cause she said, oh, I got it fixed. Obviously you didn't.
So I'm asking her, for more explanation about what that last page for the uninsured motorist coverage is asking for exactly. Can we pay only 6 months at a time, and is there an extra charge for doing that?
This isn't the right print.
Oh, there's a different printout?
Did you get the email that says revised number 2? Cause this was on January 9th. This revision number 2 does have the changes.
Maybe did she just send that to you?
No, 2 recipients, me and clerk. So on here, it does have 20.
Same price.
No. See, it stops number 20.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go down, hold on. Let's flip to the very back. You got 2 hands. So go to the very last page, or, well, page 30. Right there. That's it.
That's 29 on
And,
this one.
yep, look at the price difference. 32,000 versus 29,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a difference. Because look at that number, 19 versus 16, there's the $3,000 difference.
Yep.
Because each vehicle is roughly 1,085.
Yeah, I think it's about 1,000.
So this has gotta be revision number 1.
I do see that here, I didn't have that one printed out. I probably thought it was the same, probably didn't look at it close enough.
So it is a little less than what this printout.
But it's still how much higher than last year's?
Oh, $3,000, $2,700 for us. So this went up for us, the liability, and then the vehicles went up by another 2,700.
And I'll tell you one reason the vehicles are going up. And the only reason I know this is because I ran into this same kind of thing at work. Your 03 Crown Vic. And
Well-
the older ones,
Well,
they raised our rate at work, on our older trucks.
Yep.
Because they're more liable.
Well, here's what I found out. So she sent me an Excel spreadsheet with all the vehicles listed. There were some vehicles that we were not insuring anymore that we've given to her and said, remove this from the policy. She hasn't been updating that spreadsheet. So I had to send this whole new spreadsheet to her, but what I found out is the dollar amount that they have in the replacement cost versus the actual cash value, okay? And so I said, hey, if I wreck this car, you're only going to give me what it's currently worth today. They were quoting us on replacement value. So when I wrecked the 2017, I only got $8,600 for that. They had it in here for $22,000 as replacement value. And I'm like, wait a minute, something's not right. And they didn't even have his car listed. And I'm like, we sent this to you years ago, a year ago. So anyway, I had to send this whole spreadsheet back to her with the mileage, the VIN, all of this, and what the Kelley Blue Book actual cash value was for each one. I sent that to her on, this is frustrating. I started this process back in September.
And why are they basing this off of cost new?
Yeah, that's what I'm, because if they're not gonna replace it at,
Yeah, a 2003 Crown Vic, nobody in the right mind's gonna pay $22,000.
Right.
right, yeah.
So on January 2nd, I said, I'll send you the updated list tomorrow. What you have now is incorrect too. That was on January 2nd.
What, Michael, they're getting
I did
$1,500 out of?
I sent her the list on January 3rd.
And I seen 09s going for 1,500,
Yeah,
so.
on January 3rd, hold on, let's bring it up. So, and I highlighted it for her. Oh my gosh, what is this? Yeah, I highlighted the actual cash value on every vehicle for her. And she still got it all.
Does that compare to their price in any
So,
way?
there's 20 vehicles. I know it's hard to see.
Oh, no, I see it better without.
So year, make, model, VIN, the cost new, and then the actual cash value is what I sent to her.
Okay, so if number 3 is number 2 on here,
Well, okay, so
is that,
number,
where's the Crown Vic?
Ford, number 6.
03.
Oh, we don't have an 03, that's the point. That's wrong. Yeah, that's why I'm saying, we don't have an 03, we have a
Yeah.
2011, and it's a totally different VIN. She's trying to insure things that we don't have. That was the whole point of this updated list.
Is that on last year's, can we get a refund? I mean, if we don't have.
She had other people, she had other officers listed, and so the more people I add, officer-wise, it increases our liability. She had officers that haven't been here since 2022. Lamar's been gone,
Mhm.
the girl's been gone, Rosa, she's been gone, Doug Wilbur's gone, they were all on the driver's list. So I had to send that list to her and say, hey, these people are no longer here and
Mhm.
haven't been.
That's ridiculous if you're updating her monthly and she still can't get it right, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I think we need a refund.
I would,
So if you
I
look-
would, if
so
you're
for
gonna
example-
send her an email, I would definitely ask about the overcharges for
I think
officers
we need to
over.
go speak to
So,
right
so
now.
like here, 23 tours, okay, cost new is
With it.
28, okay? Yeah, right there, cost new, 28,360, she's got that.
Yeah,
Actual cash value, 6,400, if you're lucky,
right.
okay?
Well, and that's why when I looked down,
Yeah,
here was the Crown Vic.
yeah,
And
but we don't
I'm
have it, we don't have a 2003,
Right,
we got a 2011,
and let's see, they've got it at 27,000.
which, well, 27, okay. Ford Crown Vic. Yeah, 27,440,
Okay,
actual cash value is 3,200 bucks.
yeah, that's high end.
Yeah.
That's high.
Yeah,
These guys are buying them for race cars all the time.
right,
Yeah.
And nobody's paying $3,200 for a good one,
right,
not even,
so
you know a
our
little bit
rate,
about that, don't you?
our
No,
rate,
Crown Vics, no.
yeah, so our rate, they're basing on replacement, but I'm not going to get a 2011 replaced.
Right.
So if you
Not with
replace,
2011.
if you can replace it for $3,200, where are you gonna do that?
Mhm.
You're not.
And they're not gonna give you 3,200.
Right, exactly. If that 2011 Crown Vic crashes, I'll be lucky to get 800 bucks. Scrap. And so that's my frustration. We're getting billed this exorbitant amount of money and I'm going, wait a minute, something doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
And then I had to add his, because she just totally missed it altogether.
She has a motorcycle on there.
She does. But what's weird is, she issued him an insurance card, but yet you don't have it in the system. You're talking.
Sketchy. Really sketchy.
Yeah, something just,
So you got an
numbers
insurance card
aren't
in the
adding
thing,
up here.
right?
No,
Yeah, so she didn't have it on the list, but he has the insurance card.
Which, if, heaven forbid, Todd being in an accident, is it covered or is it not covered?
Right, exactly,
It's not on the list, but he has a card, but
right.
Yeah.
Don't jinx it.
Amen.
It's still snowing out.
Well, I sent her an email and asked her about, what is that uninsured motorist asking for exactly, and, can we pay for 6 months at a time, and is there a penalty for that? And I CC'd you on it, and, I mean,
You can see where it's confusing.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's kind of frustrating. And I mean, here's the thing, and this is gonna sound really bad, but if I'm concerned about, you know, this driver list and this vehicle list, right, and being inaccurate, is there any
What
other
else?
inaccurate
Yes.
things that the town is paying for
That's.
that we just don't know about?
Same thing.
And it could be
Yeah.
accurate, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not an insurance person, I don't know the first thing about it, but is there any discrepancies in there or something that just doesn't add up or make sense? I don't know.
Mhm.
Social engineering.
What is it, the word now for the trash picker upper person? You know, it used to be that he's the garbage man, now it's like
Waste to
Something
Oh,
there,
he's
something
got a
you
title,
think-
he's got a
yeah.
title, yeah. So, I don't know, I'm just concerned, and maybe it is accurate, I don't know, but I just don't wanna pay more if it's not necessary, or if there's something wrong, and, you know, like she had pointed out, you know, it went up $81,000. So then that puts the town at a different bracket of paying extra, and what for? Because the town's portion went up, and
And I think, I can't remember sure, but I think last year I asked, about why it had went up so much and, cause I think the valuation of the buildings went up last year too. And the response was basically because of construction materials costs going up so much, if you had
sure,
to.
and that makes sense, I mean, if there's a total loss, right, I get that, yeah, there's a total
FEMA
loss,
will save us.
yeah. You-
So, I guess-
You are rejected.
My plan would be, don't pay until I have to.
Yeah, they're not, they're
Don't-
not-
We don't wanna, are we gonna worry about the terrorism coverage at this time?
I would see if she would come next month and kind of, you know,
Well, what's funny is, when I
Enlighten
asked her
us.
about these,
Mhm.
the ones that she did not know, she had to go to the insurance company to ask about the discrepancies, that was her response to me. She didn't know why one said included and the other one said not covered.
Every question
that's
I've
scary.
ever asked her, she did not have the answer to, and she has to go ask somebody else, somewhere else, something else, and I'll get back to you, and then she doesn't, and then you gotta get her again in a couple of weeks, and
So on
She's
January
mentioned-
3rd, she says, I have asked for the proposal to be updated with the corrected vehicles and also getting clarification on the questions below. The proposal is worded a little confusingly to me, so I'm not 100% sure what they mean.
And this is the insurance agent.
yeah.
She is the commercial lines account manager. But she says the proposal is worded a little confusingly to me, so I'm not 100% sure what they mean. I'll keep you posted.
That's concerning.
That was on January 3rd, when I asked her those questions about the included, not included, and all that.
10 days ago. And no response.
Oh, no, she gave a response. That was what I read.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, she gave a
On the
response of, I did get clarification on the wording in the proposal regarding the crime and EPLI coverage highlights. The highlight section is just meant to show what the carrier's program can offer, but does not necessarily mean that it is what you have currently.
That just makes it more
The
confusing.
summary of coverages shows what is being quoted.
Well, that's all we needed, why did she?
So there is a second revision
So
quote.
is that just the
so
summary?
I'll put off
Yeah.
Yeah.
We-
as much as I can.
I know,
I'm betting she's gonna tell me we gotta pay
Okay,
by
fine
the end
arts.
of the month, or maybe next
We have
month.
fine horse?
Not accept any other coverage like the terrorism, and bottom line, I think we need to shop around.
Yeah.
And I like the idea if we can get somebody to come down here and talk to everybody.
Absolutely.
You know, in the past, we've kind of just accepted what was given to us, because
We didn't.
Because everybody's trying to figure it out as we go
I
along.
mean, I don't know insurance, I'm ignorant when it comes to insurance, I just go with what they tell you, right? You think you're covered, and
That's why I wondered if you could reach out to some
Can I get a
corporate
copy
areas
of
of smaller
this?
towns, kinda like Greensboro, and say, who do you have?
Yeah.
And see throughout the state, who have people.
You can keep that copy if you want to, Jason. I've got email, I
Do you
can
wanna-
print out more.
I can actually print out the revised number 2.
Yeah, that's actually not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's kind of accurate, but the revised number 2 is a lesser dollar amount.
Okay, yeah, if we could get a copy,
I can print one out now. You guys keep talking.
and if you would have a cold beverage, I would
Now, you were late.
give you like,
You just bring one for everybody else. You were late.
and I
You have any
can,
chips?
I can
Or,
give
you
you
know,
a receipt and a dollar.
We got chips in there.
Okay.
Chips.
Did you give the PD their check?
No, I
Jason,
didn't know.
I was
We were
still
waiting on him
signing
to
stuff.
sign, but
yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know he wanted us to pass it on.
He doesn't get it.
I gave each of you a copy of the internal controls document. You know, it's basically just formality listing out what we're doing and what our procedures are. There shouldn't be any surprising or shocking in there, but do look over it and let me know, you know, if there's anything you think should be corrected and updated. I can tell you already, since I printed that out, what I put in there about, what funds different things should be paid out of. I'm already gonna be revising that for this year, because it's, I don't know, I just kinda go, adjust it as we go along and figure it out. Other than that, like I said, I don't think there's anything shocking in there, it's just putting it in paper, so we have internal control documents. I touched on it earlier, but I did go ahead and get a debit card back from the bank. I found a freaking statute, an Indiana statute, that specifically says State Board of Account allows you to have debit cards. So why they hassled me about it before, I don't know, but I'm over it.
the gas bill and everything, it makes it easier,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
even if it's just for that one alone.
yeah, I've got W-2s, I'll get those to you guys, in the next week or so, before the next meeting, or by then at the latest.
Okay, whatever.
Reminder, I will not
No, I don't need chips.
be here
She needs
for that
chips.
next meeting.
Okay.
I haven't had dinner.
I haven't either.
I'll be
Mine's done
looking
at
out
home.
for it.
I
So-
can't-
I'm looking forward to it.
No, it's in the microwave now.
I think there's a couple of rentals in January that I am getting
All of
money
it's
from.
canceled.
Oh, okay.
I meant to tell you that and I forgot. And then Jessica Wilkinson was on the 4th or the 8th.
Yeah, she paid with prior.
She paid cash, I got the cash, and then I have one from December, I forgot all my stuff.
Want chips?
From, 9 of Arms, I have her check.
Want chips?
You can't get too many choices.
But that's the only check I currently have.
There's the new one.
You have it this month.
And then,
Yes, yes, this is-
what do you review this? Yeah. Recall for the long run.
Oh,
So Ford, yeah, there's a problem, they're recalling all the vehicles, because there's a engine oil or fuel vapor may be released into underhood environment and cause a fire. So this one-time repair of engine long block replacement is available for a total of 10 years or 150,000 miles. So the long block is the engine.
Yeah.
Yes. For free. For free?
Get the good out of it.
We got one that offered us a $50 gift card to come and do the
I think that was
airbag
the right one.
recall.
Oh, this is too
We've been
much.
putting off in a vehicle forever. I was like, well, $50, I'll go get it done.
That's too much.
too many zeros.
Oh, because of your salary.
So what you can do is then, could take it out of the second post station, or right there. Cause it should be 38 and 38, making
Yeah.
76.
I'll just take it out of the next one.
Thank you for being honest.
Hey, proud of you.
It would've came out in the end, and they'd be going, I tried to tell you guys, but wouldn't listen.
Those smell really good.
Well, here's another one. You want chips?
Sure.
Cookies delivered.
Hey,
Thanks.
you don't have to wait like pizza, 30 minutes for delivery.
Think about that. Thank you. Thank you.
See, she can smell it too. Any more chips? Good.
Yeah, I'll take some free ones.
I have an ale, but I don't know why
I wrote myself a note,
Yes.
and I think, we should be fine on cash flow.
So, the next one would be 26, is that right? Yes. The next one would be a 26.
Is it 4?
Would be 26.
Well, the salary is 24.
Oh, yeah. So this plus 26 would make 76 plus 24 is 20. Yeah, so the next one in June would be 26.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Moving on.
And then, is there something else I want to ask you? You want some more chips? Okay.
Chris, can you add, the, Gabber and the YouTube channel to the website?
The YouTube channel is there.
Oh, it is.
The only thing is with the Gabber, here's my thinking.
It's not like an official government thing.
Well, so here's my thinking. The people that do or use social media or who are on the Gabber or whatever, they already utilize it, right? I mean, you guys are the board, it's totally up to you. Now, I do need to update and make some revisions and changes to the website. I'd like to freshen it up and add some correct, accurate pictures, but getting a good shot of the town someplace is hard to do.
Where's your drum?
Well, we have to be careful with that. So, yes, you're right.
You can just
Be
say,
fine for,
you can say that.
What you could do is there's some good drone footage on YouTube of the town already, from a video on there, from Kevin Stone Rock.
Oh,
You could screenshot it off of that.
yeah.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
you have to get permission, so.
Not if
It's
it's
not
been,
copyright.
yeah,
No
if it's
copyright.
been,
Get out in the public.
yes, thank you, I couldn't, if it's already been shown,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Yeah.
know anything about what you're even talking about. Who
We
that
should watch
is,
it.
I don't know the first thing about it.
Mhm.
Where, is it on
I'm pretty sure
YouTube?
I shared the link with you before.
It's
It's a couple years old.
Uh-huh.
Know anything about it? I didn't know the first
Don't
thing.
feel like the Lone Rangers up there.
Didn't know the first
Tonto
thing.
didn't know either.
Tonto didn't know, I didn't know the
Mhm.
first. So,
I'll
you
find
said it's
it.
on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
then
send you a
you'll
link.
send it to me, okay.
I guess
Michael?
the town of Greensboro one is on there.
I would just leave that one. I don't know that I would necessarily link the Gabber.
Okay.
If people want Gabber type information, they're gonna find it.
But would there,
I will
is there
say
a
that,
way to put a link from the Gabber to the web?
I have no idea, I'm not.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We have a lot of
We could
websites.
add-
I know that I'm
Connections or
blocked on
whatever.
certain things on the Gabber that I can't see.
Really?
So you had posted something, last week about the meeting or whatever being canceled. I'm blocked from seeing it. He was able to see it and screenshot it and send it to me. I can't see it. So I
I
don't
think
know what
mine
happened.
had been. I probably done it, didn't even know it.
Yeah.
I am too, but I don't even know how you would do that.
I don't either.
I didn't even know. And then he was like, hey, did you know that the meeting? And I was like, I can't see that.
Not for me, because if I'm gonna talk about this, I'm gonna do it if you send me.
It's okay.
Or I'll call you to tell you.
Okay.
yeah, you have to go.
Well, Jennifer was in on the group text, and she got confused.
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, I go, you changed your hours, and he goes, yeah, the meeting switched, and I'm like, what?
When you get it,
Yeah, so he sent me the screenshot, and I'm like, I sent him a screenshot, I can't see it.
Hmm.
Thank you, Michael.
We'll figure it out.
Alright.
So yes, I would love to update and do some additional new refresh of the site and add some goodies to it and all that. The problem is, building a site is very, very easy. It's the content, finding the content, you know, good pictures, good information, stuff that you guys want on there. I got, you know, I just need the information. I can make them all day long, it's just the content is hard.
I think it was filmed down at the cemetery, wasn't it?
And I had even asked the fire department, when he first came on, I said, hey, I've got a section there for departments, and I was wanting to branch off and create something for the fire department, and he never has contacted me to give me
That's been,
anything.
Okay,
I
moving
do
on.
have a lot of pictures of the fire department.
been like this
I'll
world.
go through, cause I'm gonna make
I
a
think
scrap.
that's really all I have for you guys.
I need my paper back, Michael.
Your signatures up there and stuff.
I just wanted to make sure that I was doing that correctly.
Oh, just, not really, just informational. I was telling Chris earlier, it came up because of, I started looking into it, property between me and my neighbor. But I found the, paperwork where all the alleyways were closed. This was like 2021, I think it was, or 2020. Anyways, and it's stamped by the county that they received it, but when you look on Beacon, it's not updated. And even, I think the county uses Beacon too, because they're the ones who told me that, oh, there's an alley between your property and the neighbors, and I'm like, what? You know? So anyways, I found that paperwork and I emailed it to a gal up there, I think it's the assessor, I can't remember if it's the assessor or the auditor. But anyways, and asked her if she can get that stuff updated, because what's the point of us filing the paperwork if they're not gonna update, you know, and I know you brought it up before, and
Yeah,
so anyways, just FYI, ask them to see if they can make it look right.
yeah, cause Cheshire's Alley
Yeah,
still shows it's open,
yeah.
and I don't know if they've
And
sold
it
the
is
house.
closed for sure?
Yeah,
It is. Okay.
He's got a gate up.
That,
Oh, well, it's.
that alley has been closed since the 90s.
Oh,
They,
okay.
that was back when you didn't have to do anything but just get.
that was back when Howard Blockridge lived in that house, he had it done.
But,
I assume it was done right. I mean,
Yeah.
according to the Old Town Board, it was legally closed.
But, see, at one point in time, you could just bring it up to the council, and if everybody agreed on both parties,
Right,
you could close it.
yeah.
Yeah, but he
So
still has to
majority
pay
vote.
taxes on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they,
So-
they just go in and go to the courthouse and say, hey, this is now mine, so.
Right, so I don't
Put all the
know
excess-
if he's been paying taxes on that for 20 years.
I would think that they would
If
have
he was lucky,
incorporated
no.
that into his property, so, yeah, he would.
Should have been, but
That would have been
Wanna
assessed
say-
as part of his property to
Yeah.
include in the taxes.
anyways, if it
But
comes
we would
up,
get a
I
separate
do
bill
have
for
that
our
paperwork.
Oh,
and I
you
did
portion.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
it's
did,
good to know.
until we had it incorporated into.
I know it was on the lap.
Property, yeah.
I hadn't found it until I went digging for it.
Tree map wasn't on there, was it?
At my little playground swing set deal, I'm baby steps forward here. I got another grant to add to my pot, so yay. I shouldn't have to ask the town for any money, I don't think. And, I'm putting it off, actually picking it up until like March. It was just gonna sit out here until spring anyways. And they said that I could, so I'm like, yeah, we'll just wait until then, and so that's where I'm at with that.
So you gotta pick it up, they're not gonna deliver it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up, because it costs a lot of money to have it frickin' delivered. And they're out at Indianapolis and not even that far in
And I told
Indianapolis, so.
you,
He has
let me know,
What?
because I have
And
access
Indianapolis.
to trucks.
Connections.
I don't remember you telling me
I
that,
told
but
you
heck
that
yeah,
the
I
last meeting.
will.
Will it
Okay.
come out?
getting the playground equipment transported.
From Indy.
I need a trailer, probably a truck, a trailer. 16-foot trailer is what she said I need.
Well, I got a 18-foot utility bed or state bed, flatbed truck with a lift gate.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
But, the other thing involved in that, I was talking to I'm not sure what his title is, but he's the main guy at the Greenfield Parks.
Mhm.
They're getting ready to remove a park and replace it with all brand new stuff. He told me that he will get with their board and see if they can just donate it rather than destroy it. He said, because our plan was to take the backhoes in there and just start ripping it out. He said, if we can just pull it out, take it apart or whatever. I said, well, you know, you let me know what. He said, well, we'll take it apart. And probably the same gentleman that you've been dealing with out of Indianapolis used to install them. And he's going to talk to him about what all it would take for us to have them reinstalled.
Okay.
And if it is something we can do on our own, and he can inspect, because that's, I guess, what he can do is just walk up and go, yep, looks like it ought to stand, or nope, it's gonna fall over. So he's working on trying to get that, but he's going to board meetings too, so it's, you know, I don't know how far, but that's maybe, hopefully works, because the park they're tearing out, it's not great, but it's just more stuff, you know. Got a bigger slide,
That'd be nice.
stuff like that.
That'd be nice.
So even though I don't have that project wrapped up yet, I have another project in mind that I'm kicking around an idea for. I'd like to get signs, nice signs for Greensboro. A lot of these other towns, they have those nice signs out, you know?
Yeah.
I'd like us to have something like that. But I had an idea, and I've talked to this guy about it, as just an idea. Back Road Designs, they're out of Markleville, I think it is. They make, like metal stuff. If you've been by the Iron Kettle lately, they made a sign for the Iron Kettle, and it has like, it's almost like that barn corrugated tin background, and it's got like a wooden frame, and then it's metal, and it's like cursive, and it, well, no, it's not cursive, but anyways, it says the Iron Kettle. So I was talking to him about doing something along that style, but it would say Greensboro, or maybe welcome to Greensboro. It'd probably just say Greensboro, because probably bigger, more letters would be more money. But, and I'm terrible with sizes, but he pitched that to me. He's like, well, what if we did something just about like that sign that like the Iron Kettle has? And it's pretty big, you know, it would be, you know, a big visible sign to put outside at the entryway of town, and he was talking like $500-ish, which I thought sounded really reasonable. Now I imagine there would be some extra costs if we wanted to, you know, buy posts to stick it on and put it in the ground so we can stand it up nice and everything. But as just kicking around an idea, you know,
And since we do have somebody that is a sign expert on the council, pricing wise, he would know.
Remember, I brought up wanting to do signs, and it, just finding somebody to do it. You know,
That was before I went back to doing it.
Yeah, well, and then, so Louisville, they contracted with the school, and the school built their signs, the woodworking department or whatever. You know, and a lot of towns have the same exact sign, it's just a, you know, I don't care what we have, but I would love, I love her idea, I would love to have a welcome to Greensboro or something on both sides, you
I
know,
would
north
have
and
to
south.
see it.
We gotta have
To
something.
know.
Yeah.
kind of Base of value on it.
And
But
whatever-
that sounds
Yeah, whatever it
very
takes.
cheap.
We only have two now, one down there and one up here, the little small welcome to Greensboro, you blink and you miss it.
Yeah,
But if we can have something
see
that'll
it
go
all
on
the
2
time.
you see it all the time, yeah. But if we can have something that has to go on 2 4x4 posts, you know, and is you know, 6 foot wide by
Just
3
something
foot
like,
tall.
just
Yeah,
something like
6
the
foot
new
maybe
Greensboro Farm.
Too wide for
Yeah,
some of
exactly.
Yeah,
the,
so 4 foot,
yeah, 4 foot would be
4 by
more
3.
ideal.
Oh, dude.
4 by 3 on 2 4x4 posts put in concrete.
Have you been out of town that way?
Not in a while.
You need to go out that way and look at that new sign.
The last time I was there, I had a chainsaw and I was cutting all the stuff along the guardrail, cause it was overgrowing into the road.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
but right there around the corner, look at that beautiful sign.
That is a pretty sign.
It's a very,
It
very.
says Greensboro on it, so we can,
Yeah,
Oh,
Greensboro
yeah,
Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that sign. Take that
Yeah,
back.
that
I
is
have
a
seen that
really
sign.
pretty sign.
I know the guy that made that.
Yeah, I have seen that sign. And is it a 4 by 3?
No, that's a
It's
5 by
huge.
10.
Oh, yeah, well, we
It's
can't
pretty
afford
big.
it.
Yeah.
So can you make a 4 by 3?
Yeah,
Do we have to wait 6 months?
no,
Legitimate, can it be done for under $500?
I would have to figure square footage, material and all.
And I understand,
Yeah.
you know, because that stuff's not cheap.
So,
We're not asking
get on
for
it.
any discounts on materials. Now, labor, we do expect all labor
So
to be
can,
volunteer.
can it be done by April?
Getting the post in the ground will be the.
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. We'll go to Home Depot and we'll rent an auger and that's easy. I've done that. 2-man auger,
Out where roots
Three-
are.
yeah, 3 foot in the ground.
Got any,
Below-
got any
below
farmers, got
frost
any
line.
post drivers?
I
probably.
mean, yeah, do it 3 foot and, 36 inch below frost line and then pour some concrete.
Yeah, I wanted to go 4 foot on that, and the property owner's like, no, we're just going 3 foot.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's all you need.
That's a big
That's a
sign,
big
catching a lot
sign,
of
yeah.
wind.
Well, but on a 4 by 3, you won't need to go.
You wouldn't, and that's on 6 by 6 post. If you
But,
do a
Mm.
4 foot white sign, 4 foot, or 4 inch by 4 inch post
Yeah.
would be sufficient.
Yes.
The only thing that's gonna save that sign out there during a rainy spring would be just because of the natural wind blockage.
And
If
it's
it
pretty
comes,
windy out there.
well, and if it
You can
comes
have
straight
it
down
done
the
by
south,
April,
Can
then
you
we'll
get it?
plan on a Saturday and we'll go rent the
I've
machine.
got it auger.
That'll go through roots and all that.
I have a 2-man auger.
Okay,
Mm.
get it done by April, let's set it up, let's do this.
I bought it when I did my fence.
Okay, well, if you can have that sign made, you got 2.5
Might want to
2.5
borrow
months
that.
to go. Let's make this happen.
there'd be two
Well,
signs.
high in the sky, I'd love to have 4 signs, one on
That's what I
each
was saying,
entrance
one
to
each.
town.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
And since I got this extra grant, I was thinking, I could probably have $500 or so left over, where, I could do that with this guy. I'll try to get a picture for you guys so you know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about. I looked online and I didn't
I
see.
like the sign on the door.
Yeah, I do, and that's similar to what other towns have, that's my only problem.
Oh.
It's
On
pretty,
top of
but
that,
it's kinda like,
paper?
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of towns have stuff like that.
and cut like that, you mean? Or just paste it onto, that picture onto
I can put that
rectangular
on
board?
anything if we wanna stick with that, but it doesn't have to necessarily be that. It doesn't have to be square, it doesn't have to be rounded top, we can do whatever we want. It'll just have to be routed if we do a shape. I mean, you can do it with a jigsaw, but it's not gonna come out as nice.
Right.
I'd rather do it on a CNC router.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. So the signs that you make, or the one that you made, like, how does that fare with weather and fading and all that stuff? Is it something?
It's a
kind of you
15-year
replace- 15 year, okay.
vinyl.
Okay. Alright.
So,
It doesn't matter to me where we get it done or how we do it, but I love the idea.
So
of
do
having
you
one.
want to,
I still wanna look into what you started with as well.
okay,
Yeah, I
If
mean,
you can
I'm
do
not,
it-
I'm looking at him for knowledge on the pricing.
yeah,
That was my whole thing, cause,
Yeah,
I mean, I could hire a place right now, but it'd be $3,000.
sure.
And if you
And they
want-
won't use any different material than he uses.
right.
if you wanna do vinyl ones, then, let's talk about how much you need for materials, and, I can use what I've got left over from that grant, or, whatever we need to do. I just need to know, anyways, we can get some more ideas together, talk more about it as we go along. I think I'm finally done talking to you guys, if you guys got any new stuff to talk about.
I have no new business.
I have no new business.
No, just, and I'll ask you since you seem the only one here, seem to be. Seems to
Yes,
be.
she would be the only
Well,
one.
no, she's here too.
They, I don't see any ghosts in the other table.
Have
Would they be
you
able to
noticed any
see?
very
Yeah.
large cats out back around your place?
I have not seen any bobcats.
Because they're
But
back
there
here.
probably are, I just haven't
Well, they're,
seen
they're
them.
here. I mean,
Okay.
I've got video of it
I'm-
last, or 2 weeks ago. in
How
my-
much do you think it weighed?
The mother's probably, I would guess close to, according to, Rusty Fields, who that's what he does for a living,
25, 30 pounds.
she's probably 30, 35 pounds.
Decent size.
And there's 4 kittens.
Oh my goodness.
And they're not little bitty kittens, they're big enough that they're gonna start hunting stuff.
Right, right. We're keeping an eye on Coco, because there's also eagles.
But yeah, I just, you know, because I can't do anything with them until they start to become a,
Problem.
and I talked to the DNR on this. Well, actually, I talked.
So you see them on your property?
Is it,
You see them on your property?
Yeah, they're out back, right back there behind you guys, yeah,
Okay.
is it legal to trap them?
not yet. But if they become a danger or a nuisance,
Yeah.
Right.
then I can take steps to,
Joe is a very good resource for us.
yeah, well, Tyler Burton is, he's right there too, and I see Tyler a lot. And, yeah, he's the one that actually called
Joe's the one that rents the building.
Yeah,
For the DNR.
Yeah,
He comes to all of our events.
Joe,
They're probably coming because of
Him and his granddaughter.
Joe's a really, really good guy. I mean,
I know, that's true.
I saw him.
That's true, too.
Earlier this morning.
that matter of fact, DNR responded Saturday to a vehicle here in town. The guy called, dispatch.
Yeah, no, that was Frank. We just looked at the body cam. It was unless it was another one.
Right
Black-
across from
black
my house.
truck?
No,
Oh, yeah, there was one of
a
black.
DoorDash guy
Oh.
pulled in the driveway and slid down the hill across from my house and stuck on the girl's yard, and she wouldn't come outside because she was. And so,
Was the black truck on that video?
Yeah, it's a truck.
Yeah, it was a black truck and it was, yeah, it was 2 people in the truck, but Frank was here, whatever day that was.
Yeah, that guy-
Saturday?
guy called 911
Yeah.
and made it out like
We
it was
got it.
the end of the world.
Did you wanna give your stats, Chris?
Yes, thank you. Real quick, so patrol hours for December was 364.5. Training was 115, there's a lot of training hours, because we had to get everything done before the end of the year. Admin hours was 78, totaling 557.5 hours. We had 72 traffic stops, which only 4 of those came out to be tickets, and 68 were warnings. 130 business checks, and we were dispatched on 3 runs. That was it for the stats. We had a really great turnout for the Christmas event. We had 106 people that we counted. Thank you to Jennifer for coming early and helping us take parade and all that good stuff. Thank you to your husband and the fire department for allowing Santa and Mrs. Claus to make their entry. You asked for an updated roster. Where's your updated roster?
Me or?
You.
Oh, well, yeah, I knew I did, but
I love Santa coming on the
doesn't
truck.
everyone know you're gonna
It's
get it?
nostalgic.
Yeah.
We went to Kennard the weekend before, and Santa rode inside the fire truck. It was too cold for him to ride
Oh, no,
inside.
our Santa's.
And I understand, but my heart was so disappointed because Santa wasn't on that truck.
Our Santa and Mrs. Claus, they bared the cold.
They did.
I felt bad for Mrs. Claus, Santa, I figure he's used to it.
I enjoyed the horn.
Oh, yes, that was good. Yeah, what's your husband's name again, Chuck? I can't remember. Is it? I wanna call
Charles
him Jack. I wanna call
Smitty.
him Jack again. Jack. I get his name mixed up all the time. Anyway, the queuing of getting Santa to come took a little longer. Something was going on. I don't know what happened, but I'm like, we're for Santa.
The U-Haul guy tried to pass.
Yeah, we were waiting for
Oh.
something.
Dawn saw it, yeah.
Wow.
Something was going on, and they told us to wait. Was it you that sent me a message, said, wait to come?
No.
I don't know, but we were standing out there and like,
Oh, one of your
Jared,
officers.
Karen, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know
we're
what
standing out there waiting too.
yeah.
Santa was freezing his
Yes,
mistletoe.
I know, I'm like, do you guys wanna get back in? He's like, oh, we'll be okay. Yeah.
His mistletoe
Yeah,
was
I-
kinda cold.
Maybe they were waiting because I was running late and wanted me to be here. So I was driving it.
No, I
In
don't know
town
what
a
it
little.
was,
But in town, I ran 25.
Yeah.
You got anything else, Chris?
I do not, that was, yeah, no.
Do you guys have
Oh,
any
no.
concerns?
No, not right now, thank
Just a
you.
bobcat.
All right, meeting adjourned.